How's it going? How's it going? The moment everybody's been waiting for. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, it's I'm just gonna cover some charts, talk about the markets. Lots and lots and lots of people talking about downside. I love it. I love people talking about downside. Makes me even more bullish. Doesn't mean we can't see some drops, but definitely it's not something I feel like I need to be scared of at the moment. How's it going? How's it going? Yeah, a little fresh, you know. No, I'm just playing. It's one of those days, man. It's one of those days. We're gonna talk about all the coins everybody keeps talking about. So I did a little run through on X today, and I basically discussed, you know, what do people want to see? Drop me some tickers, and I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that again. That was not gonna lie, it was a little absurd. I think I'm sitting at 136 responses, right? 136 responses. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot to cover tonight. Probably a lot that people don't want to see, a lot that people do want to see, right? So we're going to see some regular coins. We're going to see a lot of meme coins, it looks like, because there's a lot of meme coin discussion. And we're going to kind of see where the market is, too, as far as meme coins and altcoins and, you know, non-Bitcoin derivatives. I think Cohen made a nice post today kind of talking about that BTCD, but I think you could also use the ETH BTC comparison to kind of see the, you know, offset of the two. So how's it going, Charge? How's it going? So, you know, overall, I think it's pretty interesting. There's a lot going on with markets. We're going to start with the boring stuff, so don't get upset at me, right? We're going to start with the boring stuff. It makes sense to start with the boring stuff, get it out of the way, and then we'll kind of run through the market from there. Nice, healthy reversal on the market here. Now, what I would tell you guys from like S&P standpoint, again, just, you know, study. When you get wicks, it's just one of those markets, man. Once you shift away, you just keep shifting. Usually signals a big bottom for markets when you get these big buy-up ranges. And you don't end up seeing price retract back and recover that or anything like that. So it's kind of hard to tell that we're going to see the market shift back towards that wick. And that, keep in mind, that's on the monthly. It's not even the weekly. So overall, S&P looks pretty good. We're kind of playing the high range, and we're playing on the bull side of the stock. The reason I talk about S&P is because stock market kind of runs the show, right? And S&P kind of runs the show for the stock market. So when you look at the S&P, you can kind of get a good idea of like where the market is liquidity wise, what kind of money, what money flow looks like, and so on and so forth. I mean, we've been in a steady downtrend since, you know, the 08 crash, but we continue to keep rising. Again, bull side is basically above the 50, so we've been playing between the 50 and the high here. It looks like we're kind of playing the mid range, so we could definitely shoot up from here, reversal back up, or the market could take a little dump and then come back up. But the point being is that we're playing on the bull side of the market. So stock market's bullish, looks good. Send it. I'd say low caps, mid caps are kind of the play on the stock market right now. We're already seeing that kind of play out with crypto. One of the charts that I'd say that really is something to look at here is the candle strength here on Ethereum when it comes to crypto is really, it's looking really good, right? And this is a good indication that we're getting back into that high bid territory. Doesn't mean we can't get some kind of sweep. Keep in mind, this will pull alts back and then some kind of shift back out. That could always happen. I'm looking for a pullback, maybe mid-range, and then a go, right? A candle that breaks to this high. And if you start to see this move, you're looking pretty good on altcoins. Altcoins should look pretty good too. Something else I talked about today, and I said this, again, keep in mind, I said this on Twitter. I said, if you break 190 on Solana, you're going to go basically just straight vertical. And we saw that move right here on Solana, basically straight vertical from that 190 range. So once we broke above that 190, we saw the market basically shift off of that really heavily. Now we are playing the top range right here. right? That's basically where we resisted before. But likely what I think we'll see is probably a monthly close around this range, an open up here, a pullback, a wick created, and then a move back through and a breakout. I'm thinking next month you're going to see a lot of moves up. So even if you get some kind of pullback going into the end of the month, again, it's not really the scenario where you should be like, all right, I need to sell all my positions to buy back lower. Doesn't make much sense right now. If you're wanting to hedge, you know, so on and so forth. But that's the way I'd look at it. So now with basically the boring stuff out of the way, the kind of market discussion as far as overall and where the market, you know, is kind of taking us at the moment. I would say, like, you know, getting into, you know, altcoins, meme coins, so on and so forth, there's quite a few kind of signaling bigger moves at the moment that I think should really kind of be paid attention to. Doge being one too. Again, just, you know, another altcoin that really kind of insinuates where the market is going. Sui looks phenomenal, by the way. Let's get into Doge real quick, and we'll kind of start there, and then we'll start shooting down the list of all the requests today of different tokens. Now, keep in mind, we'll also be talking about some utility coins because there were some requests for utility. So no shade to utility people. I think there's always a play there. But this is the Doge move I've been looking for, right? And it was either going to be a full-on rejection here and a swing fail, or we're going to continue pushing through. And this is a really strong trend. Now, why are we looking at Doge, right? You're probably like, who the hell's buying Doge? Why are we looking at Doge? We're looking at Doge because Doge is a great indicator of risk, right? That's the way I typically look at it. So risk is kind of the play with Doge. We can see the strong uptrend. We got basically the breakout move. This is kind of like your resistance range right here, kind of playing along. We can even lower that a little bit, kind of more like into here, right? Where you basically resisted last time. You wick through, failed, wick through, failed. Ideally, we close up here, and then we get some kind of close relatively in this top end range right up here. And if we can get a close up here, we're looking pretty good for probably a pullback, monthly open, move back up, right, on the next month's move. So that's what I would be looking for Doge. And if we can see that, then what we should be doing is we should eyeballing this with basically Fibonacci, right? Run the high to the low. We look for the 1618. You know, if we catch a vertical move on Doge and a lot of these altcoins, you're looking at decent amount of upside plays here that could move really quickly. It's just a matter of when, not really if. So you're looking at, you know, basically 1400% right there, 1450 if you can hit that 1618 target, which ideally I would say with those structure, I would think it's possible, right? I would think it's possible with those being able to hit those targets. And then moving into other kind of structured coins, and this was one of the requested coins too. We'll get to the other ones also. Don't forget, right? We'll get to them. Yeah, Doge is a real meme oscillator. Exactly. That's where a lot of people fail to kind of acknowledge Doge. And here's another thing too. I said I would explain to you all with the discussion of the chart is also we can look at the RSI, right? So we've got kind of grinding strength with the uptrend of the move, right? So we bottomed kind of relatively in here, but if you look at RSI has been in a bull div. Why do we call this a bull div? Because the market here was flat, right? Flat pricing with rising strength. Now, for those who may not know what rising strength is basically every time you come down with your strength indicator, which is kind of like your buy, right? Your buy volume. Every time you come down with your buy volume, you catch a higher low, a higher low. So your structure starts to build upwards, right? Builds upward momentum. And that upward momentum against price bottoming at a flat or price bottoming to a downside, right? Either or, it can be either or, essentially allows you to kind of reverse off of that range and push up versus down. Now, if this was losing strength, right, and you were moving downwards with strength and you were flat here, likely you're going to flop and go lower. That's typically what you're looking for when you're looking at charts in general. All these bots on Kick. But yeah, so you had a strong indication right here of a bull div played out at the low. Then you had this breakout and you started moving off of that. So moving back into something like MOG, right? Great structure also. And here's the thing too. I'll tell you guys this. Whenever you're looking at a chart, this is for anybody who's a newbie on charting or doesn't really understand charting in general. the strong side of the market is always above the 50, right? It's always above the 50. The weak side of the market is below the 50. So anything below this 50 line or lower, that means you're moving into weak territory. So when we started breaking down right here, you kind of knew that MOG was going to start trending to a certain point, and then at a certain point, it would start reversing, right? And now we're kind of playing into that reversal where strength is kind of slowly but surely picking up. Now, as long as you can hold this trend, it doesn't matter if you come down again or not. As long as you can hold this uptrend, you've got good strength and momentum in your favor. And not only do you have good strength and momentum in your favor, you also have basically what you call it, price action that's kind of moving to the upside also, right? So you got price action moving up, you got strength moving up, kind of hand in hand, and you have one other thing in your favor, and that's being above the 50. So remember, what we talked about specifically is above the 50 bullish, below the 50 bearish, right? That's how you should always view an oscillator when it comes to something like strength. You should always view it in that perspective. So when you're breaking lower, you're going to be looking to really come down. When you're basically breaking above and starting to slowly break through that 50, this is where you start twapping up typically. So likely what we're going to see from MOG, for instance, here is we'll likely see a higher move. Again, just shoot for that 1618. I think that's a fair price. You hit that 1618, it puts you right around this 0.22. You're probably like, well, what does that mean? We could just take a ruler here and kind of give a percentage there. If MOG's going to basically look from high to low, it's basically a 1,300% move from here, right? That's where the Fibonacci puts us. That'll likely put us really high on the RSI. And honestly, that might be, maybe top of market at that point. If we end up kind of V-shaping back up to here, I would say that risk is going to start heavily decreasing once you start reaching these levels of strength. You don't want strength to really kind of push against that high. You want strength to kind of, get up to that high, then cool back down. And that's what we saw over here. This was your highest point of interest. And then from there, you saw bear divs, right? Playing against your bullish upside. So what is a bear div playing against bullish upside? You saw your highs getting lower and lower and lower. And you saw your highs over here getting higher and higher and higher. What that means is that you're running into a distributive range. You can always go higher on a distributive range, but eventually a distributive range will end up reversing the move back down, right? And where does the move typically bottom out at? Well, it bottoms out typically wherever you started to create that reversing range, which would be usually your highest point, your low end of your highest point. We saw MOG then come into that low end, kind of broke through it a little bit, and then recaptured it and came back up. And now it's topping back up to the upside. So this is a good structure coin overall. Structurally looks pretty good. Again, just clean 1,300%. I think it's got a lot of liquidity in it. So a lot of whales like to play in this thing. I see it consistently then moving in and out. You could technically day trade this, swing trade this if you really wanted to. It's got enough liquidity to do that. Just a meme coin at the end of the day, right? It's just a meme coin, I understand. But traders like to trade anything. They'll trade anything that's got movement. So with MOG, this right here looks pretty good overall. And then if we move into some other things, again, let's say we move into something like Pepe real quick, and then we'll get into the other charts we discussed. That will be for another time. So we'll get into Pepe, and then we'll get into your guys' other meme coins, and we'll see what we have kind of going on there. A lot of these low caps are starting to move, so it's looking pretty good. There we go. Right up here, we'll just check Pepe real quick, and then we'll kind of move off of that. The funny part about Pepe specifically, you're probably like, oh my God, that chart looks horrendous. It is. I understand. This is kind of like my long swing that I was looking for to move back down. But again, if it plays into a fib, that should end up playing out. Oh, let me back that up real quick. If it plays into a fib, it should end up playing out. You got a lot of movement there. So if you play into that 1618, as you can see right there, it should play you right up to here. If we close this, sorry, let me go back. Let me give you that percentage move right there. If you're moving up to there, that gives you about 478%. If that's compound, obviously it'll be a lot more, right? But this right here really looks good. And now let me give you guys another comparison, and then we'll get to the other meme coins that you guys have talked about and asked about. I didn't know you were streaming. Yeah, I was streaming. That's what I was saying. So let me give you a quick comparison between Solana and Pepe. I think this is a strong conversation right here. If you look at Solana's moves here, right, and you look at Pepe's moves, this is something I've been talking about for a while. We can get rid of all this stuff right here. Basically, you've been kind of swapping this upper range very similarly, in the way that Solana has been kind of swapping this upper range. And I think that if Solana is going to break out, likely you'll see Pepe follow Solana. So actually, Pepe is actually a little bit behind Solana right now in its current move because Solana is already pressuring its high. Pepe hasn't really quite gotten there yet. Honestly, we could probably move that closer down to there, but you see right there, you can see the gap. You're already pressuring over here on the Solana chart. RSI on Solana also. Oops, didn't mean to open that. Meant to collapse that. As you can see right here, Solana has been very bullish this cycle. Doesn't matter like how people feel about it. Like this coin has stayed above that 50 the whole time. Like since it bottomed right in here, this coin has remained above this 50. So it can sit here and twop back and forth all at once. Honestly, I think Solana is closer to the bottom of the move than it is towards the top of the move. There's a lot of people in different camps with this, but like you have plenty of upside to really kind of swing this if they really want to. So don't think like this is a cooked coin because of where we are in the cycle. Like Solana still has move. It still has motion. So I would say like you definitely have more upside. Even if you were to be like in a bearish territory of this downtrend and say this downtrend is probably the high, you still have a lot of room between you and that top and that downtrend, right? And likely what I think is like if we move into the bullish part of the cycle, you'll likely break this trend. You'll likely push up really far because that's where you're going to get your blast off, and then you'll likely come all the way back down. That's where you'll get your bear market. So ideally, that's what I would like to see from Solana, not necessarily a fail at this high here. A lot of people are going to be calling tops a lot up here because everybody wants to be the top caller in the market right now. That's all you're seeing across the board is top. I mean, I can't even count the amount of times that Capo is called top. No shade on that. He just keeps doing it, but like it at a certain point, you're going to be right, and then you're going to claim you were right the whole time, and I don't think that's justified. But again, I think this is a good follow-up trade right here, Pepe to Solana. Very similar price action, same consolidation range, same breakout range, same break up, break higher, break lower, break up, break higher, break lower. You can see the structure is very similar between these two. I don't know what the correlation is because here's the funny part. This is on ETH. This is on Solana. So it doesn't make much sense, right? So, but the correlation is there between the two charts. Again, RSI looking really good. And Pepe, same thing. Again, if we top out, I would say ideally you top out somewhere around here, right? Just like we did previously. Or maybe we shoot a little bit past that. I would say definitely you start getting up here, start swapping out a little bit. If you start getting back up into these ranges, but you could definitely go a little bit higher, and then eventually you'll go back into a bear again, which would definitely, if you get strength kind of pushing like that, you're going to get more price action too, which would kind of play out to the conversation we were talking about. So this is where I'm seeing, and this is why, like, I'm telling people, like, don't be bearish right now. Right now is not the time to be bearish. Like, everything is set up right now. This is the setup. We're taking spot positions. If you want to be kind of cautious, right, and you're cautious of the market, hedge it with a short. You're likely going to get liquidated, though. I'm just going to tell you straight up. You're likely going to get liquidated on that. So as long as you're okay with that, then, go for it. That's what I would tell you. I think the market is too erratic here. And I think you're going to get wrecked in a lot of cases if you start trying to short shit. So let's move into kind of the conversation piece at hand, which was all of the meme coin requests. My God, people. All right, we're gonna run through them. Okay, we're gonna run through them. We're gonna run them through the BB terminal. Why? Because we want to see what the spreads look like on top of all the other conversations, right? So we're gonna definitely talk about this from a couple different angles. Swag, of course. Yeah, you already know. But let's run the first one here. We got Apu coin. All right, let's run Apu. That one was a pretty heavily requested one. So high liquidity, good moves. Now, here's what I like about some of these coins. Not something I'm in, by the way, but I want to kind of talk about structure here because I think structure is important. Like this one right here, for instance, they always have these ranges where they like to come back to. And as long as they can hold that range, you're still kind of like in that accumulation range. Like this I would say is still in an accumulation range and not in a breakout range. What does that mean? That means that if you're buying Apu, you can buy Apu anywhere in here, right? Like you're going to be playing the high range, low range of here. So ideally you're kind of like this, right? 96%. So you could definitely lose a little bit if you're in this play. It's like a 50% downside. If it comes back down, it's a 90 up. Now, what I've been trying to express to people is like, if you're bidding for the bull market and not bidding for the swing, how you should be playing this, okay, is not the way a lot of people are playing it. How you should be playing this is you should be playing it as in bid again. And here's the thing, you can bid in different random spots. You can bid high, right? You could bid low, you could bid high, you could bid low, you could bid high. Why are we just bidding here and not trading this? Because if we're looking for the bull market swing, we're looking for this thing ideally, okay? Ideally to be swinging out of this range. And this is where you're looking to twop. What do I mean by twop? You're looking to get out of the coin as this kind of happens, right? As the upswing really starts pushing, you start getting out of the coin. This is where you make your money. This is what I try to tell you. This is where you make your money. This is just BS up and down that you're just trying to day trade and saying, oh, well, what if the market pulls back? What if Bitcoin pulls back? Well, I bought low, I bought high, I bought low, I bought high. I haven't bought this. I'm just using it as an example, right? And maybe my DCA average is somewhere around the mid-range. So I don't care because this isn't worth my time to trade this. If I want to trade something, I want to trade something that actually moves well, right? With really good swings. I'm not looking to get in something that is, 100 up, 50 down, 100 up, 50 down, 100 up, 50 down. This is the most boring chart to trade. So if I'm buying something like this, I'm accumulating for the upswing, right? You are accumulating for the upswing. You're accumulating for the upswing. You're accumulating for the upswing. That's how you should be thinking about these things. Stop thinking that everybody's a scalper and day trader. Everybody cannot do this stuff. That's why I hate when people sit there and they're on Twitter and they're telling you, oh, might get a pullback on Bitcoin, might get a pullback on ETH. Okay, great. Short the market. Hedge your position if you want to hedge it. But it doesn't mean I think I'm going to get a pullback on Bitcoin, so I'm going to sell this asset because I think I'm going to catch it back down here. I mean, if that's how you want to play the market, play it that way. But why are you even in the coin? This coin doesn't give enough. It doesn't have enough volatility for you to be trading that. We have to understand what volatility is, right? And we're going to move to the next chart after this. I just want you guys to kind of understand this from like a different level than how we've been thinking about it. We've been thinking about it like every time Bitcoin pulls back, ooh, scary. But what we should really be thinking about this is, where should I be getting out and where should I be getting in? You should be getting in where the consolidation range is, and you should be getting out when the upswing and the hype starts happening. When everybody starts screaming 10 billion market cap, 20 billion market cap, and you're all the way up here, if you haven't taken anything out of the market, you're doing this wrong, right? You're just doing it wrong. You like these are meme coins, right? You're looking to get them to go high and then start exiting as they go high. You want to exit as the liquidity is pushing up. You don't want to wait until this happens and then you're selling into the down liquidity, right? We sell into the up liquidity. That's where you're selling. But you need to get an upswing that moves you out first. This hasn't even had that yet. So still an accumulation range, in my opinion. That's my thoughts on it. I know it's long-winded, right? But we're going to move to the next chart from there. So we'll move into stonks. Stonks is looking pretty good. I was looking at that the other day. I was like, shit, missed that one. This was another requested one, right? I believe this 22 million one. I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, I tricked you. I believe it's stonks on ETH, right? Let me see real quick. Yes, this one. So this one, good move, right? But where was your accumulation range? Accumulation range was here, right? And this time it was here. These happen. But I can tell you, like, this type of move usually ends up resulting a lot higher. So I'll give you an example, one that's similar to this. And it was a ski mask stock, right? That was another one that I got in really early, told people about. This was a strong contender right here. This was also one of the requested, so it's fine. So these coins, sometimes they do stuff like this, right? And then they look completely dead. They went lower than where their previous consolidation range was, right here. And then right here. And then you get this little pump right here and they start selling. But you can start selling that really if you want to. But I'm not saying like sell your whole bag. Like what I do is I twop out a little bit at a time. So I take a little bit as we start rising, like maybe up here or something like that. Like if you're really euphoric move, like you've been just consistently uptrend for like multiple days. Yeah, I might cut a little bit here. And then, I'll wait to cut the rest until we get a bigger move, or we'll come back down and we'll settle again, and I'll just wait for the big move again. That's all it is. But I'm not saying that this is what Stonks is going to do, by the way. I'm just giving you an example of like a coin that had did something similar, right? We're talking about something that did something similar. So this had a higher low, and then it went to a lower low, and it looked like death, and then it came back from the dead. And then you have Stonks doing something very similar. It had a higher low, and then it had a lower low, right? And now it's coming back from the dead. Maybe it gets enough gas to get pushed up there, right? But again, kind of a low cap, but can definitely become a big cap if it catches a big enough trend, we'll say, right? PTSD. Why is there so much? That's a good question. Why is there so much PTSD? Because people have been getting wrecked. People have been getting wrecked because what have they been doing? They've been trying to day trade shit like this, where they sell this, they chase something else, and then they come back and they see it up here, and then they try to buy back in with their bag up here. It's the most pointless shit ever. Like if you're going to rotate, never come back to the coin. Never come back to the coin with that liquidity. If you're going to rotate, stay away from it. That's the best way to get wrecked. Fartcoin on ETH. Hold on. We said Fartcoin on base or ETH? Let's see here. Fartcoin, Giga, and Popcat. Yeah. I get a lot of requests for Fartcoin, man. So many requests for Fartcoin. Oh, hold on. Before we skip that, my apologies. Let me finish that real quick, and then we'll get in this. You can see I've already started charting Fartcoin, by the way. Let's look at RSI real quick, and then we'll look at the other indicators, and we'll move forward from there. RSI. Above the 50, good. Uptrend, swinging away from it. So you got kind of like something like that. So it looks like it's been kind of accumulating, even though it was kind of dead. You still had strength. Again, just really strong indicators that somebody's moving in is your RSI, right? Really strong indicator that somebody's starting to move in, even into a dead coin, will be your RSI. So we see right here, RSI is starting to pick up. I think we can even get this on the weekly, likely. Yeah, look at the weekly. You kind of cuff out, and now you're above the 50, and now you're just swapping up, right? Daily, you're looking really good. You're not too overextended here. You can probably reach this high before you start to see any real cool down. I'd say somewhere around there. But likely you're going to keep bouncing between here, even if you get twop up, right? Even if you twop up. But likely what I think will happen here is you'll probably hit this at some point, and you'll see some kind of like cool down, and then you could see more movement, right? Because usually what happens is like, even though you have this all the way up here, you'll catch your first resistance on your first high, right? You catch your first resistance on your first high. And then from there, you'll catch your second resistance up higher. And typically I like coins kind of like this because like this wick usually ends up getting filled. So you'll probably see this market. If, you know, we move back into a bull market, you'll probably see this market move back up towards this range again. And you got decent amount of upside. So if we were to like move back up there, you're looking at 339. If we throw a fib, high to low, we'll say, let me just make sure I got it because this is really tight. So let's say somewhere like right around there. How does our high look? High looks good. So high to low, you're looking at what remains, right? We're just doing fibs. It doesn't mean that you're gonna have to respect the fibs. You can definitely go far beyond it. It's like a 600% move from there. So minus compound, right? If you've been in since the low, your compound is going to be significantly more than a 6x from there. No, I don't hold it. I'm just right now. I'm just doing requests basically. So this isn't something I hold, but I'm just doing requests that were basically asked of me. I asked people to drop tickers. I'll run them. We'll talk about them. I'm gonna look and see what they got. Now, if you surpass this, you know, keep in mind you can have significantly more upside and easily surpass this. It's like 600 there, and then like you could even hit like as high as a 2618 if the market really moves. Ski Mask Dog is a great indication of that. Like there was no respecting fibs on Ski. Like I woke up one day and it was just, you know, turbo mode out of nowhere. So even though we had our fib here, like this thing just kept going, started to hesitate a little bit here, and then just kept going. We shot way past fibs. These are what you call like moonshots, right? Ideally, you're looking for this play if you start to see kind of hesitation. But you can see here, we never even saw hesitation. It just blew right through the range. So when they start to do that, you can just start twapping. And I believe what I talked about in the BB Discord, originally I was talking about Ski. Don't hate me, Ski. All right, don't hate me. But, you know, I started swapping roughly, and I told the Discord to do the same thing. I started swapping right around here. I think it was like 20 cents. And then I nearly top ticked it. I think around like 33 cents or something like that. So these are the two swap ranges I told people to kind of start getting out because I told them this thing's starting to get way overextended as far as upside. So you can always tell when you got a high swing that you got to just start getting out, because here's the lifespan of a coin once it's done that. Now, granted, keep in mind, Ski is still looking good. It's got a good consolidation range going on right now, right? So it can definitely go higher from here. So if we were to drop a fib on Ski, for instance, from where it's at now, and we're to look at that, then, you know, if we're looking at another full bull, again, you're looking at roughly about 600%, but you could definitely shoot a little higher, right? Yeah, that's a real moonshot, exactly. And I don't even know how I get these half the time. Not gonna lie, I just find the right charts, but it's wild when you see it happen, when you see it play out live. But you see people really get life-changing money. I watched one guy, I think he put in like 5K down here when I was telling him to buy, and I think he came out with like 350K at the end of this play. That's how much he was able to sell into the buy volume. But you got to really kind of be diligent about, you know, getting out of these coins once they get to a certain level of overbought, and just understanding when it's gotten that far. And then you could always re-enter. Don't get me wrong. Like once a coin like this kind of does something like this, you can always re-enter these lows because you know where that low is. And likely if you run into another bull, you can still get another big upswing, and then you basically just compounded your move after something like this, because after getting up to here, you're at like a minus 80-90% drawdown. So that's a really good place to be looking to kind of, you know, catch a compound and then run it. You can always run the 80-90% piece too. You got to keep that in mind also. You hit your lows multiple times here. You could have been any one of these lows and kind of found a bottom. A little bit overextended here. Nothing too crazy. We're on the daily though. If we put this on the weekly, let's see what that looks like. Weekly looks good. Like it basically, if Ski, because this was another request coin, and I'll get to your fart coin and gig and stuff. If Ski can get above like this range right here, like with real strength, like move up to like 60, I'd say, then you're looking really good for maybe swapping back up to this higher range, right? Doesn't mean you're going to get this exact high. You could top out really anywheres in here, but if they can get back above here, they could see some decent upside for this coin. That's what I would look for ideally. You're kind of playing this 50 and then coming back below it and playing the 50, and you could come back below it, or you could push up, hold the range, create that strength, and push up higher. Let me see here. Sorry, I can't do whispers, man, right now. I got so many messages right now. I'm gonna get to, yeah, no problem on stocks for sure. I'm gonna get to Giga and Farcoin. Those are two other things. I know there's two Farcoins, two different groups. You got the base Farcoin and you get the regular Farcoin. We'll talk about both of them. Farcoin overall, it's not bad. This was a bear flag, broke down, hit its level, right in here, and then came back up and broke off of it. So we need to see it break out of this range, though. Need to see it break out of this range right here with strength. Right now we're above it, which is good, which means you could continue back up to the high. Let's see what the RSI looks like here. So that would be a good indication. RSI doesn't look bad. That looks good because like you had that, right, kind of going for you. So kind of this bear downtrend that you were staying underneath, and now you've gotten above that. So you're looking pretty good. You could probably hit this like 90. You could probably hit that 90. I think you can swing back for the high on strength. That should put you pretty high up here. If we're running a fib high to low, you know, you're ideally looking for something around $4.13 upside potential off of that. It's basically 148%, you know, with compound. If you're looking at size, it's a good play, right? If you're looking at like 100K, 200K, it's a good play for like a 2-3x. But I will say this too. I think there are some layer ones you can get that off of, to be honest with you. I do think you can get that off some layer ones, and that would be safer technically. But you know, if you're looking at a 1 or 2x play, Sui being one of those, by the way. Let's run Giga real quick. Yeah, I've kind of got the low brought out of that right there. You do have a lot of whales step out, but it doesn't mean it's over necessarily. But RSI is kind of choppy on this mid range. Let me see here. See if I can find something here. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie. It just looks like it's kind of breaking out, breaking down, breaking back out. I mean, I would say like maybe you're in accumulation range. This might take longer to play out, to be honest with you. I remember when people were showing this to me, man, like way down here, and I faded this shit. And it was like, I just couldn't be in everything. That was basically it. I just couldn't be in everything. But RSI, I'd say get above this range. Let's say weekly. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Oof. This would be your biggest indicator. Here's some hopium for Giga, right? I'll give you some hopium for that. If you can get above the 50 with strength on the weekly, you got a big swing up, right? So a big swing up if you can get above the 50. That's what I would look for. Right now, strength is kind of looking weak. I won't lie, it's really looking not looking that great. But yeah, that's what I think right now with Giga. It's not the best looking chart right now as far as strength goes. But if they can get strength above this range, it will look better. And I'm always gonna say it like how I see it. I'm not gonna feed you guys hopium and bullshit. Like I just want to be straight up with you so you know what you're kind of dealing with. And I think there was another one too. Let's see here. So there was some quests for OP, Floki, and Zora. I do like Floki. I haven't bought it in some time, but my brother-in-law talks about it a lot. This is one of his favorites. The old era. Yeah, no problem, Rex, for sure. The old era. So Floki, you got these spikes. Here's what I would tell you. Look at this vol. Look at that volume. Pretty crazy how it's almost perfect. You got a nice W formation here. Let me see RSI on this real quick. Run the RSI. If you're above the 50, that's good. You're on the weekly, that's really good. Monthly, monthly looks good too. Yeah, you're above it on the monthly, you're above it on the weekly. Daily, a little bit overheated. So you could definitely cool down a little bit, which means likely, it doesn't mean you have to come back down on a cooldown. You could just play sideways, right, to cool down the RSI. So you got to always keep that in mind too. RSI overheated doesn't necessarily always mean downside. And also your time frame matters. So weekly, monthly being your most significant, daily being less significant unless it doesn't add that much time on it, right? From there, if it does have a lot of time, then, essentially go with your higher time frames. You're going to get a better indication of where it is. Weekly looks strong above the 50. I would say you've broken your downtrend. So you had a strong downtrend right here. You've broken that downtrend. You're now kind of shifting away. And ETH is doing something very similar here. It looks very similar to ETH. So for me, I would say, yeah, you'll probably catch your first resistance right around here. So this will likely go higher. This will likely go higher by the way it looks. You'll probably catch your first resistance right around here and your second right around here. Doesn't mean you can't chop here with strength a little bit and then kind of move, to that next one and then move to that next one like that. And that be kind of your market over. And that would just kind of twop you into different ranges. Maybe you catch a higher high here, something like that. That's what I would think kind of with Floki from an honest standpoint. That would be my thought process with that. OP, yeah, I got OP too. Sorry, I'm just running through the Twitters right now, and I'll get to the comments too for you guys. OP. USDT. Let's close this out. Oh, it looks good. I'm not gonna lie. I know people are gonna be like, this looks like shit. But I'm telling you, man, like this. I like this double bottom. Let me see the RSI. RSI doesn't look that good. RSI does not look that good. I'd like to see rising strength against bottoming price action. This is what I was telling you guys, like, this is not something you want to see, but in the favor of, yeah, I'll do redo right after this. In the favor of OP, you do have a bottomed out stochastic, right? Which is a good strong indicator. You might be close to bottom, but you don't have any indicators right now on the monthly telling me that. But let's look at the weekly, because weekly can definitely tell you something different. You have a small bull div right now on the weekly. So you have basically strength up. It's not anything crazy, right? It's a small bull div, and you have price down. I would like this to be a little bit bigger, but this is all I have right now. So what can that mean? That means that this could potentially push up to this 130, 140 range and still come back down, right? Why here? Not only is it the mid-range, it's also kind of your rejection range if you look at the highs, right? So if you run these highs here, that would be your rejection range. Now, how would that flip? It would flip if you can get price above here and if you can get RSI above this range. Boom. So you have the same resistance. One here, one here. You're pressing into it right now. You could still swing high here and then come back down and reject. But if you get, again, price moving up, you'll likely see a big move up from OP. So you don't have confirmation yet of the reversal move. And plus the move above the trend would also put us above the 50 in that bullish range, right? So that would be the other thing that I would be looking at there. So that's the way I would take optimism at the moment. If we move into back into, I think it was OP. Oh, Zora. Let me cover Zora. Sorry, Bashar. I'll get that in just a second. Let me cover Zora real quick, and then I'll cover yours right after. I don't think I have Zora on here. What exchanges do we have? Oh, we should get better exchanges. I'm split between Bybit and Mexi. I don't know which one has the better history. Nope, nothing on there. Just futures. All right, let's run this one. Ooh, I like the chart though. I have some Zora. They gave me like 700. No, it might have been $7,000 worth on the airdrop. Drop this down. Do we have any strength? Yeah, we do. Ooh, that daily looks nasty, man. I'm not gonna lie. I need a better chart. If somebody has a better chart for Zora, something with a little more price history. I'm pretty sure there was more price history than April 2025. I may be wrong on that, but I know it's relatively new, but this looks atrocious on the RSI. Looks very overbought. Likely going to double top based on that. I mean, you're hitting really close to your 90 range. If it doesn't top here, double top here, then it'll push through and it'll sit here and chop forever to cool this back down. That's what I think of Zora right now. I don't really see a lot of movement here, to be honest with you. Redo. I can't remember if Redo is a fundamental coin or a this one right here, Bashara. Resistance dog. Okay, cool. You have strength, but you also have price moving in the same direction. So you got to be kind of cautious with this one, because I would say it looks something like this. If we run a flag, right? Which this flag is not the good flag. We want the falling flag. We don't want the rising flag. So you got this kind of playing out. You're kind of trying to push above that 50 and you keep rejecting. So you kind of pushed up this way. So you have strength here to a degree. But you also had the lower high structure here. Honestly, like I think it's going to get squeezed down. And then what that would mean is you'll likely double bottom. That's what I would think right there. I think this is going to get squeezed down to this low again. And then, you can pick up some for probably cheaper, likely due to time frame of this wick. This price action you could definitely get a pop before a drop, right? But you can see right here too, you got a lot of wicks here, got a lot of wicks here, a lot of wicks here. But you could see price or it could even hold here, right? Either or. It could be here or the lower range, one of the two. I would say though, looking at the higher time frame, maybe no lower than that body candle is ideally where you want to be. So maybe the reverse around here. So your drawdown would be something like 40%. If it's an accumulation coin, then I would say just keep accumulating until you get the big upswing. But RSI is still kind of low, not really breaking towards that 50 yet on the higher time frames, right? See, you're right here. But I think once you do, you'll likely be really high if that ends up happening. Daily wise, you're kind of playing the mid range right now on the RSI, so you could definitely break out or break down. But based on price moving in the same direction of strength, I would say likely it's going to break down. That would be my honest opinion. Let me keep running through the comments real quick, and then we'll get through the rest of that. Mog, we already talked about that. Yeah. Oh, there was one people kept spamming. I swear to God, if it is a new contract, we're gonna have a problem. Okay. So everybody ignore if it's a new contract. I don't know if it is or isn't. So we're gonna check it out. If it is, it's an ignore. If it's not, then we'll take a look at it. Okay, not new. Good. All right, so this is something that was brought up. I had a lot of posts on this. Good strong move up. This is really kind of weird how they have a lot of wicks down here. It's like somebody's really trying to force price, but you got a lot of sell pressure into that, right? So they just sell it down, they try and bid it back up, sell it down, bid it back up, sell it down, bid it back up. So somebody's trying to reverse this for sure, but let's see what the RSI says. RSI will tell us what's really going on here. RSI looks very similar. That's crazy. You're a bit overextended here on the daily. Let's check out the weekly. Whew. Yeah, you're overextended for sure. I'd say you got a little bit more room for chat at, but you're likely going to double top. That would be my thoughts. You'll probably come back up, or you'll catch a lower high structure, something like that. Look, I know everybody wants me to like tell you what you want to hear, but I just got to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta keep it real with the way that things are looking. Like you're very overextended here. Doesn't mean you can't push higher. You could definitely swing higher, right? But like the issue is like where your strength is. This is a very forced move here, very, very forced. So. And then we could take a look at something else I wanted to talk to you all about. So my SPX 6900 chart, by the way. Here's your 1618. We could talk about this one. So let's check out price pools. Find the biggest one. Is it this 270? Yeah, 270.9K. You got another one that's 225? That's interesting. Why do you have another pool that's basically almost the same size as the other pool? I was going to say, there ain't no way that's how the split is. All right, so the splits, top 10 hold 25%. Top 11 to 20 hold 14, 20.51. I mean, this is very similar to something like, say, SPX 6900. It's a very similar split. There's a little bit less, but you can see right here, it's very similar. This one's a little... Top 10 own a little more on this one. On this one, it's a little more of the overall top, 20, top 40 wallets. So nothing too crazy, I would say. But yeah, you could move up on this again. RSI looks kind of meh. I would say let the RSI cool down. Come back, take a look at it later. All right, let's go Moon. Okay, Mooncat. All right, we're doing it. All right. Yeah, we'll get the BPS and stuff, guys. Trust me. We'll get all that. Mooncat. It better not be new. All right. Or we're just closing it and we're not looking at it. 3.7 mil. I haven't had a chance to look at Apu yet either, so. Let's see. And that was a pretty heavily requested one, so I'm gonna take a look at that one too. So I like this. It's kind of rounding out. Let's run an indicator real quick. RSI. Strength on it. Spread looks good too. I like the spread. See, it's more spread out for distribution. So it's not as like whale heavy. The RSI is not, that's the 1 hour. Okay. Oh, you don't have that much history. That's what I told you. I want RSI on daily, man. No go. No bueno. H4 looks good, but there's just not enough here. It's not enough here, Mooncat. Sorry, guys. Not enough here. Need more time. Could move out of this range, move higher, get a bigger swing, right? You got heavy wicks kind of pushing down on you on H4, but there's just not enough time to really kind of tell that that RSI. RSI is breaking on the H4, but again, like just so we're all aware, like when you're looking at trading time frames, right? What is H4 good for? Does anybody know? It's for 4 hours of price action. That's what it's good for. So that means if you're making a trade, you're looking to trade in and out within 4 hours. So you're not looking to stay in a trade. That's why it's a little more difficult. What we're looking to do typically is we're looking to find charts that have decent amounts of time on them, because they'll give you a better overall view of like what you're looking for swing, and they give people a safer position. I'm not saying that Mooncat's not safe. I don't know the coin. What I am saying is like the higher time frames give you a better outlook on directionality, the feel of the coin as far as through strength and so on and so forth. It's a better look to go with the higher time frames than it is with the smaller ones. This one has, when you look at it on the daily, there's no RSI. It's just starting to form. Here. I'd say give this like another month or two, come back, take a look at it, and then, see where it's at from there. That's what I would say. It's just too new. Let me go back real quick. Look through here. Hold on 1 second. I just got to look through C-Pool, Banker, Crow. Yeah, we can run Crow too. Crow's a good one. I know there's some XRP people too. We'll talk about that too. Crow. Yeah, I'm looking for an upswing here. Crow's been a pretty consistent coin. I mean, look at this. Look at this. That's been a really consistent coin. Daily, weekly, monthly. Uptrend strong. And keep in mind too, you hit your low, your bottom low, and now you're kind of uptrending towards that 50. So with this one, I would say you're getting really close to a breakout. Crow could definitely recapture that high. So if we're looking at like a move back up to the high, that's 800. And if you could swing higher than that, let's say a Fibonacci, right? I don't think it will reach the Fibonacci level. I'm just going to say it, but let's say it does. I just don't think fundamentals have that kind of motion right now. You're looking at like a 4,000% move if it does, right? I would say like at best maybe mid-range for a lot of these. And that's why, like, even though the meme coins are the play right now, like there's still there's some things out there you should be paying attention to when it comes to fundamental points too. I mean, if I were to change my chart to percentage right here, right? And I have a lot of charts from 2021 to now, Swag being the best performer. If you start running down the chart here, you'll notice that a lot of fundamental coins end up being kind of in that top percentage flip where they're starting to move off their lows and show interest. Jupe becomes bullish above this yellow line, which is basically 70 cents, right? You see right here, you got ARC kind of move, again, just another one of those that moves bullish once it moves across this low right here. This is your resistance high. This is up 7%. You're seeing Filecoin start to move out this low. Filecoin becomes bullish once it moves above this yellow range right here, 314. YGG looks very bottomed, right? I'm only showing you this because obviously, like, if you're looking to get into something other than memes, like there are things out there that I think are very, have very good potential based on the way the market's veering up. And we saw a lot of big moves after Ethereum started moving. You can see right here, really big candle. To me, a lot of these are going to get more follow through to the upside. So your percentage gains are going to be pretty consistent on a lot of them across the board. But let's move back into the chart. C-Pool. I don't know what that one is. Let's see if it's a meme coin or a fundamental coin. Likely a fundamental coin. Bad RSI, good double bottom, right? So you got your double bottom here. Probably more than that, really, if you kind of kick it up to here. You can call this a deviation. That's your low. You've been hitting that low for quite some time. Only issue weekly time frame is your RSI is down here, right? So it's moving downwards. Let's look at daily structure. Daily's hit this low multiple times. Monthly structure, you don't have enough time frame for monthly. So weekly is the best we can do. Weekly, you got losing strength, price moving sideways. What does that mean? That doesn't mean you have to go lower, but it means you could chop for quite some time until you see some kind of move away, right? Kindly add, sorry, somebody, this is, I'm not adding anybody. If you want to follow me on Twitch, man. But not add anybody. Too many people trying to scam people all the time. So yeah, let's move back into what we have here. Banker, BNK. I think Banker is a fundamental coin, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, 1.8, 352. Is 352 the best? You guys are probably like, why does he go with the highest liquidity pool? Because it's usually the main liquidity pool. So you're typically looking for, there's nothing here on Banker, bro. Like if 66K is your liquidity, there's nothing here. 70K, oh, 317, okay. 317 is okay. Go with that. You got a couple other ones, 210. All right, we'll go to 317. I was going to say, if it's that low, it's a no-go. Bro, look, I'm gonna teach you guys something today. Okay, I'm gonna teach you something today. This is a no-go. Nice to see you, Eva, for sure. This is a no-go. These wicks, no. Nope. You see this kind of stuff? There's no trading volume on this thing. I can tell you that just by looking at it. Like somebody's manipulating it, but like those wicks are disgusting. Let me see. Actually, let me drop it. Sorry, I attacked it before I even looked at the higher time frame. Okay, they're still there. Yeah, this is yeah. This is wild. Let's see what the RSI looks like. Let's see what the spread looks like. Spread's kind of meh. Oh no, it's good. It's good. 55. So 55 rest. 23, 20, 11. Let's run an RSI real quick on it. It's definitely overheated on a daily. Let's run a weekly. You're above the 50 on the weekly. That's not bad. You got rising vol, right? You got rising volume. Not bad. I'd like to see that cool down with price moving up. That would tell me if this coin's actually got motion or not. You typically want to see cool down in volume, rising price. That tells you people are holding. That's a good indication. But until I see that, I can't really tell if they're just pumping the coin or what they're doing, because volume continues to rise and rise and rise and rise. And the chart continues to rise with it. So I want to see vol drop with price up. That tells you that people are holding. That's a good indication of that. You do have a good spread, though. I will say that. 1,300 wallets. I've seen meme coins with a lot more. Atypical, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't got motion. I don't even know if it's a real coin or meme coin or. I don't know what the use case is behind this. So, yeah, for me, volume, chart, great, but I need to see dropping vol, rising price. I'll be interested at that point. DMT ICP. All right, we can run that real quick. Let's run DMT ICP real quick. I like DMT, by the way. That one's been looking pretty good. Looking pretty juicy for sure. DMT. So here's DMT. You can see right here we rejected right on the 50. We need to get above this 50 on this higher time frames weekly. Well, it should still be under Will's outlook. So if we can get above the mid range here, above the 50, we're looking pretty good. Need to get above that higher time frame, weekly, monthly. Ideally, monthly is a little bit below too, but we can get above there on weekly, monthly. This thing should fly. It should absolutely fly. But you got to get above that range, which would probably put you somewhere right around here. You can see right here, resistance, support. This is that range where you're looking to get above. Likely you get above here, you've pushed far enough above the 50 to where you're going to start twapping a lot higher. So DMT above basically $28 looks amazing. Yes, you'll have to wait for basically 2x from here before you can be safely enter this play. But if you want to take it from here, you can take it from here, but you're taking on risks because this thing can likely chop more sideways. But you are kind of in that consolidation range too. Keep that in mind. If you look at the consolidation range overall, right through here, right, you're still playing within that consolidation range. So just what I would tell you is if you want to bid this, bid it low, bid it low, bid it low if you're looking for the swing out. That way, at least if the coin doesn't have motion, when it moves back up to the high, you can get out and profit without losing money. If you're just bidding it wherever and you don't know that it's gonna come, basically break out of this range, then you can end up stuck in it. So let's move into ICP real quick, and then we'll move into a couple others. I do have more coins, so don't worry. All right, it's gonna be a longer than usual session. Give me 1 second. ICP moving into 16.6. So this is that range that I wanted to see. So basically we had the breakout, we had the fill, we basically filled the entire breakout candle right here. Came back down, filled it here, came back down, filled right here. And now the entire breakout's filled out. Now likely you could trail sideways. You need to flip basically around 670, I would say. You get above 670, you can start moving up and twapping higher. You do have the higher low structure. Your RSI is pretty much bottomed. You can see right here where you were slowly creeping out of this bottom as you were dropping in price. Again, aka another bull div playing out at the low right there. And then you had the breakout from the bull div where you pushed it to the 50, rejected, came back in. And then from there, you were still kind of playing that bull div, right? And then you flipped really hard to the upside, had this way over extension, big cool down on RSI strength. And now you're kind of trying to get back above that 50. Again, flip this range, flip this 50 on the RSI. You're looking really good to push really high again. You'll likely twop even higher, right? So I'd say somewhere around here, around like you could probably push up into 236 in the bull run, right? This will be like your top if you're going to get there. This will be the top of the bull market. If it doesn't, it'll likely reject somewhere around here would be my thoughts. That would be kind of the next level I'd look for. So where should you start ideally getting out of this coin if you're in it? Probably around like $60. What is that from $6.13 is a 10x play, right? So that's what I would say ICP. Zeph, and then we'll get down the list and keep finishing up with everybody. I haven't heard of Zeph. Maybe I have. USDT. Oh man, why MXC? Come on, guys, don't give me stuff that doesn't have main exchanges. Looks bad. But that's all I'm gonna say. It just looks bad. There's weekly, monthly. Yeah, we talked about Doge towards the beginning. So Doge looks good. Doge looks good. Yeah, this looks bad. Zeph does not look good. So way below on RSI. You do have kind of a rounded bottom. If you can break back above the 50, doesn't mean poke above it because you can end up getting trapped again, right? Or poked above and fell back below. You need to start really twapping above. Likely you'll probably be somewhere above 420 when that happens. This is a real, the RR here is not there, right? It's just not there. Oh, this isn't the full chart. Okay. Where would I find the full chart? I only see two. For sure, Guardian, for sure. Cubic. Hold on, we adding to the list now? We adding to the list, OSG? All right, here we'll do Cubic. I don't have a long enough chart for this, so we'll do Cubic USDT. No, I'm talking about the cubic. I didn't see that on your post in the Twitter. Cubic looks pretty good. Looks really good, actually. Really good. Looking at this weekly, strong uptrend, breaking above the 50. Yeah, this looks good. This looks really good. You could likely shoot well up here, right, on the strength indicator. I would say first resistance, second resistance, and likely it's gonna move. This has motion. That's a really strong buy right there. You keep catching these lows. Like this doesn't even matter. Like you're catching really heavy bids here. Like the verticality of the strength here is really good. This thing could definitely just go straight north from here. And it looks like it's already starting to gain momentum, even with these two candles. So this looks good. I like it. Popcat. Oh, we can talk about Popcat. I just didn't pull it up. My bad, man. My bad. Yeah, we can throw it up real quick. Wasn't this Tommy's favorite coin or something like that? I believe it was 374 lick. Do we have a higher liquidity pool? When you guys give me tickers, give me highest liquidity pool so I don't have to like look through 1,000 of them. Okay, let's see. Not H1. Daily. Oh, not 3-day either. Let's go weekly. Yeah, this is my favorite. All right, so start with distribution. Distribution's okay. Similar to SPX. Let's go with RSI real quick. It looks good, man. Looks good. I like it. Break this range, you go vertical. Your RSI looks really good too. Looks strong. You got a good weekly RSI running here. You can flip this 50. You'll likely flip this range. You do both of those together, you can go straight up. Like it can really move from here. There's not a lot of resistance over here. You might catch a resistance like right here, right? Temporarily. But this looks good. I like it. Definitely don't hate Popcat. That's a good looking chart. And I don't own any. I don't own any. Yeah, I like it. You sent a link where? CJ on base. We'll take a look at it in a minute. OSG, if that's okay. CJ on base. Bro, I remember CJ. All right. Why is it not showing up? Right here, base Uniswap, liquidity 250. I'm assuming that's it. No, I don't think it's allowing you to post links. I think that's probably what it is. This better have time on it. It better have time on it. All right. Oh, it does. Okay, that's good. Let's look at the spread. Spread's good. It's not bad. Something like this, I like to see less of a spread like that, but 1,300 holders. Let's see the RSI on this. It's not bad. You're above the 50. That is a good spot. I would like to see more price action above the 50. I'm not going to lie. I'd say break above this range right here. You can see it right here, right? You can get above that range. You're looking pretty good for verticality. And then you start twapping as you're hitting highs, right? From there, if you're looking to get in this. Curtain doesn't match the drapes as far as price action to RSI, but RSI is kind of signaling something there. I will say that. So I would have liked to see more price action though with that RSI, because that, keep in mind too, this could roll, right, and come back below the 50. You wouldn't want to see that. So you want to see string kind of keep pushing, but you need price action to kind of break this, vertical velocity range, which you're not really getting at the moment. Buy to sell looks pretty good too. You got more buys and sells. Transactions are kind of meh, nothing too crazy. Small values, 277, 343. So if you can get a little more picked up volume, a little more price action up, I think it'll look pretty good, but you need to get up there. Let's see here. Peasy. I know somebody's been asking about that quite a few times. So let's run that one real quick. A lot of people asked about this one, actually. I almost forgot about it. 322 lick. I assume that that's the, which one is it? Is it the Ethereum Uniswap 2? Or, okay, this is base, right? Okay, so you're not talking about base. Can you charge? Yeah, I can throw up Chasme. Base or non-base? V2, got it. Okay. 268. 268 looks like the liquidity pool. Better have some time. Better have some time. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I'm putting it on the weekly. We're gonna see. Okay. All right. Got some time. Nice. So RSI. Hopefully it works with this. Yep, it does. All right. Not bad. Not bad. RSI above the 50 the whole time. Looks pretty good. This is the same thing I saw with SkiCat. RSI has been remaining above the 50, which means there's been a lot of bullish price activity. Looking pretty good. You could pop off on this. Hit the 90. I think you'll at least likely hit your highs, right? But if you, let's say you throw a fib on it, this is worth throwing a fib on. So high to low fib. You could swing this up for like 200% roughly, give or take. I'd probably start cutting around high. Not the whole position, but just start cutting out of the position around high, right? That's where I'd start at. I'd start to get out of the position. And then as it gradually went higher and higher, I would start to take a little bit more and more. Did I cover swag? No, I haven't covered swag yet. We can run the swag coin and all. Let's run the port. Let's run the port, and then we'll get into the rest of these coins. Launch coin, Collat. All right, so I'll look at those in just a minute. 779, bro. Swag, look. This coin is killing it. It is killing it. No problem, man. No problem. Liquidity wise, currently sitting at 777. Not too bad of a liquidity pool. 5.9 mil. It's been kind of fluctuating at the high up here. Likely what I think is going to happen here. We'll chop a little bit and then we'll move. RSI, let's look at it. It'll probably indicate what I'm saying. Yep, RSI. No, RSI is still not bad. That's not a bad RSI. But if they want to, they can cool the RSI down to like mid-range or whatever. But it's far enough above the 50 to where you're likely going to stay above it. So, you know, we'll either see more sideways and up, or we'll see just up, right? One or the other. I think here's the thing I think about the rest of this month. Either we're going to move kind of methodically sideways and drop and then go up, or we're just going to kind of play into the end of the month and then swoop up at the end of the month. It's going to be one of the two, the way the market's setting up. That's why a lot of people right now are talking about hedging and stuff like that at the moment. So this one looks pretty good. It's for obviously my bags. The other one too. So, and kind of what I saw with these are pretty strong plays. Drip's another one too. I don't think. Yeah, that is okay. Cool. So weekly. The reason I like these ones because they have time on them. A lot of the ones you guys have shown me tonight have time on them, which is good. That's ideally what we're looking for. I don't even know what is going on here. But that is not it. Let me try this. I don't know why that looks like that. Okay, chart's messed up. Let's go over to deck screener real quick. So we got right here. This is my my dream, right? This is my dream. But for right now, we're kind of just playing sideways. Let's throw up the RSI real quick and take a look at that. I don't know why. Very overextended. I do agree. On the daily, right? Weekly, look at where you're at on the weekly. Breaking through the 50, right? So this is a strong indication right here. Really strong indication. What I would like to see is drip start to do this again. Just the lower or the higher low twops, and then the breakout move. Again, this is always what we're looking for, right? We're looking for higher low twops and then breakout. And where do you sell? You sell into the breakout. Right now, we've just kind of shifted away from these lows. And you can see vol pretty much died on a lot of these coins, right? They died down and then the market moved quickly on them and shifted in as soon as risk came back into play. And that's kind of what I've been trying to tell people is like a lot of these, the reason that they're moving is not necessarily because I'm moving them, probably am helping, but ultimately because the market is already starting to shift back into risk. So if we move back into, say, the weekly here, this is another one. I mean, look at this RSI. Look at this RSI. Breaking out of this low, breaking out, coming down, and kind of trying to break this this 50. This is another one of them too that where you got to get a little bit higher, right? So this is something else I'm kind of playing right now, but really what you want to see is you want to see that flip that is way up here. And then if you can get if you can get strength to move into a flip up here, you're looking at significant upside from there, right? You can really kind of shift off of that. But to reach escape velocity, you still have another, you know, another 175% to go that you got to get through. And if you can get back up to that 175, you can reach escape velocity at that point. Let me go launch coin real quick. The people's favorite. Launch coin is an interesting one because if you look at launch coin as a whole here, you're essentially playing the low, right? That's what you're doing right now with launch coin. So this is kind of a tough one, but let's throw up an indicator and see if we can get a price action on this. Oh, okay. All right, launch coin doesn't look that great. You're losing momentum here. You're losing strength. Buyers are slowly kind of like stepping out, if that makes sense. So even though you're kind of playing to the side, you need a reversal on strength to the other direction to really kind of indicate what I would like. I'll tell you the ideal world that I would like to see here for price action. So I'd like to see launch coin continue to hold this, and I would like to see strength start to go this direction, right? If you could see those two, that's like a perfect world for a perfect setup, because then you're looking at potentially a reversal move that's coming in later, and then you'll twop into that really hard, right? That would be your reversal move right there. But you need to see price not depreciate any further than it has, and you need to see strength kind of push up. If you start to depreciate in price, likely this is going to continue to cool down with that price action. That's what I would tell you with launch coin. So I don't think it's going to reverse here. It's not showing indication of it yet as far as strength goes. But you could still play sideways, which means you're not really going to lose anything here. But it's a risky trade to play this coin because your strength is not in favor of bids. I have a decent amount in swag, Amelia. I have a decent amount of swag. You're asking about the make or break conversation? Yeah. I have a decent amount in there. ENA. And what I mean by that make or break is like I'm championing coins that I want people to make 100x on this cycle. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find that next 100. I was able to get one last year. I was able to get a couple the year before that. and I would like to get at least 1 or 2 this year, right? That like if I can get a consistent 100x 1 out of like 10 plays or 1 out of like 20 plays every single year, that makes up for any losses you take. And then in addition to that, it helps people make a shit ton of money. And then obviously people like making money. Like I said, with ski was one of my biggest plays. I think pretty recently, as of last year, Ski Mask Dog, and that one was like a 350x or something like that, 340 from the low. Let's see here, 7.3, 2.8 mil liquidity. Are you talking about the ENA on Solana or ENA on ETH? Amelia, you emptied your bank account this way. Trading View? Okay, gotcha. ENA on the ETH. And then we're talking about crypto, right? USDT. Oh, it's on Binance. Okay, cool. Makes it easy. RSI, I like this. I like this a lot. And then we broke down, found a higher low structure, right? Even if we're really close to this low, it doesn't look bad. Stochastic's a little overheated with RSI. You could see some kind of rolling here, but I would say ideally it doesn't look bad at all. Like you could see something like that, right? With strength, which means you could see some consolidation into another upswing. That's ideally what I would be looking for. And if you get that, then you're likely going to see resistance here, obviously, because you got 1, 2 resistance here. You'll likely see your next resistance in that same range, which means you'll probably hit, you'll break down, and then what you want to see is another breakout here back above the range. That's what you'd want to see. Ski Cat is just my beta to Ski Mask Dog, but I think it'll end up playing out. People really like that whole look. Confirmation bias. Nothing to prove to me. I've seen it all from Mog, Ski Dog, Sui, Ada, all super early. Thanks, Amelia, man. I really appreciate that. Not a lot of people like to recognize my W's. They just like to recognize my L's. It's like, look, everybody gets L's from time to time, but I've had some pretty crazy freaking W's to where, like, if you were in, no L that you took that I ever gave you mattered. It never mattered. Your Sui position was life changing. Yeah, 100%, man. I was so dedicated on Sui at the low, man. I was telling people, like, I put in over 6 figures on that play, and I was telling people, like, hey, that's the play. You want to go Sui, and that was at like 46 cents or something crazy like that. Yeah, you're the reason. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, not a lot of people like to give me kudos. They just like to bash me a lot of time, which I'm okay with. It's part of what comes with this, right? It's getting bashed, but it is what it is. People get upset. I assume this is the Griffin you're talking about on the weekly. Got 50K out of Sui, out of 2K on Ski. Yeah, see, 50K out of 2K. Imagine. Bad calls, man. Bad calls. All right, let me throw up the RSI real quick. I'll above the 50. That's good. Kind of losing traction a little bit there. 4.1 mil lick. It doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, it doesn't look like it's doing anything crazy right now. You got kind of a downtrending RSI, right? With a flat bottom, which means that you can continue trading sideways infinitely until that changes. I would look for some kind of uptrending RSI before I would take an entry on this. I don't think you have the right things here to really kind of cook off of this. It could pop, right? And you could end up kind of like doing something like that for like 177%. But you can do that on the coins that don't have the downtrend on strength. Does that make sense, Billy? Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah. This one, I don't really see it cooking right now. It doesn't really show indication of it. Let me throw in the wallets real quick. We'll just take a look over here real fast and see what that looks like. I thought there was a bigger pool. Yeah, there we go. That's a bigger pool right there. Yeah, it's similar to SPX. Nothing too crazy. Nothing I haven't seen before. Yeah, I don't know. That's ultimately up to you if you want to get in that one, man. I don't think it's all there. Department of you want to go Doge is done, bro. That's Doge is done. We'll take a look though. We'll take a look. Pango? Okay, yeah. We'll do Pango next. That's a good one. 36.6 mil. No way. Let's check it. 38.3 mil liquidity. This is not real. There's definitely not enough price history there either. Let's go with this one. The 556, I'm assuming, is what you're looking at. Yeah, I think this one's cooked, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is absolutely cooked. The whole narrative is done, right? It's kind of like the president tokens. They're gonna be a narrative into the election, and then you're gonna get wrecked after that. So you just got to know what you're getting into. Doge was like a play into Doge opening, and then beyond that, it's gonna be not Solana ETH. All right, I think even if you hit the ETH one, man, it's not going to be pretty. You talking about the base one or which one? Yeah, I'll take a look at Workhorse too. That's actually a good conversation right there. I think a lot of people are interested in that. And we're going to do Pango after this one, by the way. We're going to do Pango after this one, and then we'll run the other charts. I don't see, unless we're talking about this one. Okay, yeah. The 2.1 million liquidity, right? Yeah, it still kind of looks the same. Let's check the RSI. Well, these short, yeah, you're well below the 50 on the weekly. And unless like some kind of narrative comes up that involves Doge, which I can't think of any. If you can, then feel free to fill me in. But like I can't really see these ones reviving. Like even though they got a decent amount of liquidity in them, like I can't really see them reviving because you're even seeing it in the strength here. The strength is like you came up, touched the 50 and rejected immediately, came back down to your low again. Like this is like a slow bleed, is what it looks like to me. And then let's do Pango real quick, and then we'll start running the other stuff that you guys got there. Pango. So 2.13 billion. We're looking for the big liquidity pool, which is likely this one, the 9.9 mil. I think I looked at Pango the other day. It looked pretty good from a chart perspective. Likely, look, let's just keep it real. I'll tell you guys like my thoughts from the beginning was that this wick is going to get filled, right? That's my thoughts from the beginning. Let's run the RSI though on this, and we'll see how this looks. Luckily, it has enough time on it now. Ooh, that's some crazy strength, man. Right here was your low. Then you got to move up, pull back down, and now you're kind of I think you're gonna fill that wick, and then likely that'll be it, right? Well, it doesn't mean like it's over, but you're gonna hit this, and you're likely gonna have to consolidate for some time to cool that back down. Even if you don't get a retracement, you're either gonna get a retracement or you're gonna get some kind of cool down phase that's gonna make you sit in this thing for months before it moves back up again. Is my thoughts, right? From again, I'm just talking from pure TA chart perspective. That's it, nothing else. PAL and let's see, XRP. Sure thing. Let's check out XRP, man. It's been a while. XRP. Honestly, like I think like you're looking at like $10, $11, man. I'll just be real about XRP. Like, I think 10, 11 bucks is your top for this cycle. And if they really want to take it there, it's going to be less, right? Define less. Well, here's your high to low structure, $5, right? But I think like $5-10 is kind of where you're looking at for XRP this cycle. Conservatively, right? Conservatively. $10 is an overswing, by the way. But you can see right here, like this is what XRP has been doing for a decade, right? Is it's just been playing sideways right here. Now, granted, this is a tightening pattern, right? It's a tightening pattern that broke out, and now you're kind of playing above the previous high, which is good. This is a good thing from a chart perspective. And then likely what you're going to see is you're going to see a break above all-time high, creating a lot of FOMO, really pushing this thing up here. That's why I think like there's a possibility of you seeing like a 10. I mean, if they really want to take it there, maybe you can get to like 15, but like I just don't really see 15. I think 10 is a fair upside move for this cycle. I think over time though, you could definitely see this thing, and you can see here how I drew it. You can see this thing kind of building over time now that you've kind of created that escape velocity. So you created that escape velocity, that breakout over here. And even if you see a bear market, you'll likely use that as support, right? If that ends up happening. So that's my thoughts on XRP specifically. Cardano. Yeah, Cardano's a good one. We can look at Cat and BNB next. Let's run the Cardano chart real quick. And I'm not bothered by Bitcoin's current action. I know like a lot of people are like, oh, it could pull back to blah, blah, blah. It could pull back. It doesn't matter. Ethereum's already started moving. Solana's already started moving. They're in escape velocity. Bitcoin's pullbacks are going to matter less and less to alts relatively soon, in my opinion, based on the way the chart's setting up. If you were here in 2021, you know what I mean. There comes a point where just Bitcoin's pullbacks don't even matter to alts anymore at all. Like Bitcoin could drop 10K, go back up 10K, and alts are still doing what they were doing the whole time. And that's where dominance really comes into play. Dominance really helps you, which Ben Cohen talks a lot about, right? But dominance really helps you kind of indicate when alts will gain strength and when Bitcoin will gain strength. When Bitcoin has strength, it's basically like the bad stepfather walks in the room, starts beating all the alts, right? That's basically what happens. It starts beating them all. And they start going down in price when Bitcoin goes down in price. And then all of a sudden, it comes time where those alts grow up and then they start beating up the bad stepdad. That's basically what happens. And then the alts are basically just up only in Bitcoin chop range forever. Cardano looks really good, man. I won't lie. Like this is a strong megaphone pattern. So what is a megaphone pattern? Basically, we got the price right there, and we've been kind of widening into this price range. And now we've kind of shifted away from it, and we're kind of catching our legs. And really, all we got to do to kind of get into escape velocity is kind of push through this high. So if we start flipping back into like $1, we'll say, or $1.10, $1, somewhere relatively in that range, you're going to likely just start moving up in a hefty way. Something very similar to like what happened right here, right? You're going to move up. But you got to keep in mind, here's your first shift. Here's your second shift. This will be your third shift. You know what happens after that, right? Market over at third shift. So don't get caught. Don't get caught with the super cycle bullshit and everything else. Sir, we can run circle real quick. I think I have it open, maybe. No, I don't. Circle, like I'm just gonna be real. It's a new coin, man. Not coin, but new stock. It's a new stock. It's a hard tell what that's gonna do right now. You don't have any RSI to run off of. Honestly, like you can see where the RSI is right now. You're playing the high range since open. I don't know. Maybe they can flip this back. There's just not enough here. There's not enough here. I'm just gonna be real. Like I don't want to try and BS. Like there's not enough history here to really kind of tell you what this is gonna look like. I would say if you're up a lot, take some of your initial and other things off the table. But that's what I would tell you. I would never hold something brand new that I'm up a lot on, because you never know what's going to happen with these things. Even stocks, right? I never hold a, like if I made a lot of money off a new stock, I'm not just going to hold it. I'm going to exit, because typically these things sell off hard at a certain point. Coin, a great indication of that, right? A really good indication that is coin. Lucid, I think Lucid's in reversal. So if we take a look here at Lucid, look at the RSI. Again, easy, plain as day, bull div playing out, right? Price dropping, strength rising, getting close to that 50. You're going to start getting into that TWAP range where it starts pushing up really hard. And you're looking at least $6. I got calls on this running right now. So I think this is looking really good for a setup. Let's see here. Put BTC pair looks like. Oh, yeah. So let's look at that real quick, just for a conversation piece. I think that's an important one, real quick. So a lot of people like to run BTCD. I have ETH BTC. Wabi talked about it a little while ago also, but this was always my reversal range for ETH BTC. You can use BTCD in the same fashion, but I like to use BTCD in the same fashion. You can use ETH BTC. I like to use ETH BTC because our strongest indicator, again, right here was 19, 20, going into 21. We basically came back down and tagged these 19, 20 lows perfectly, broke out of the consolidation range, and now I think we're kind of shifting up. Does Ethereum form a higher high, or does Ethereum kind of top out at its previous high? That's really the question at the end of the day. So we'll have to look at price, and we'll have to look at where dominance is at the same time once we start getting here. But we could see a cycle where Ethereum breaks out of here, but it really depends on where Ethereum is in price, right? If Ethereum's already at like 10K and we're like right here hovering, I would say we're likely topped, right? But if Ethereum's like at like 10K and we're like somewhere's up here, I would say we probably have more room to go, right? What would that look like? I'd throw a fib up at that point if we can get into a breakout structure, and I would run the 1618 for strength. That would mean that's where I would think Ethereum would ideally hit if that was the case. But if we don't, again, if we end up kind of hesitating here at like 10K, then likely this will be the top again, and you'll end up rolling right back into it again. Bitcoin will start taking over dominance right around here. Can you check Collat and Powell? I think I have Powell on here. Oh, let me run Workhorse real quick. I know that was something else somebody else asked about. That's something we're actually currently playing right now in the Discord. Workhorse. I know a lot of you guys are scared right now with this one, man, but all I can tell you is don't be scared just because it broke down. You had a strong move to the upside to hit that. Basically, I told these guys to get in Workhorse, and then all of a sudden it went from $1 to $5. Not that they pushed it. The market actually pushed this. The market pushed this at the $5 on some news, right? And then basically it's coming back down, and it's basically consolidating the breakout candle. So that's why I'm telling you guys, like, don't be scared. Give this a little bit longer. It's consolidating the breakout candle, which is this candle right here. He came back down. you tagged more than 50% of the candle, likely you're going to just sit here and kind of waddle a little bit, maybe scare you a little bit, and then you'll likely shift off of that. So it's still a play. It's nothing to be like scared of at the moment. I know it's scary seeing it go like this and then come all the way back, but this is relatively where you want to be. You bought it at $1 and it split and you weren't watching. Yeah. This was a really good play. It's a really good play. We're playing a lot of really good low caps at the moment. And then I think Rivian is another one too that we're kind of playing in with EL. And Rivian looks good too. Like the setup looks really good for calls. So we got call side positions on this, which should make us a bag. Like you could turn like $400 into like $4,000 easy on this play. You could turn $4,000 into 40 on this play. So I think it's going to be a 10x banger. But look at this strength right here. This is crazy strength on the stock. And you can see the drop is starting to turn into a breakout with strength rising still against it, right? This is looking for a big upswing. It's looking for a big upswing. I'm thinking like pushing to $22. To go from 13 to 22 in the calls, you can make a lot of money on that positioning. A ton of money on this positioning, especially if you got size. So that's what we're kind of playing off of right now. And then another thing we're working on right now also is EL. EL has been kind of in this downtrend. We just broke through it just recently, pulling back a little bit. Likely we'll play this a little bit more. We'll probably push up to like 102, roll, come back down, and then head up for our target price. Our target price is up here. So that's what I'm kind of playing on right now with that. And VIX is kind of still in that cool down phase at the moment too. So you see right here, VIX is really getting crushed. I want to see it kind of push down this 1110 because that means we're going to be really running. We hit 8. We got to start being cautious at that point. Let's see here. Army, what is that? I assume another meme coin. The first one. Ooh. Chart's nasty. Hold on. Above the 50, starting to break below it a little bit, bounce out of it. It's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely consolidating. You can see prices following strength. I'd like to see some kind of twapping up, ideally. You got a really strong bid right here, trying to force it up. Now, if you can kind of see some kind of pullback and see strength start moving like this, and price starts. Oh, wrong one. Oh, golden logo. Gotcha. And then we got Bobo. Oh, yeah, Bobo. I forgot about that. My bad. We'll get that one in there too. So let's run. Let's see. RSI. Yeah, same thing. I mean, you're right here playing above the 50. Ideally, I like to see some kind of twapping playing out here where you start getting like that and price is still kind of playing like this. Because if you got that, then you're looking for a big upswing at some point. That's ideally what I'd like to see. But you are in a good spot. You're above the 50. Doesn't look bad here, I would say. It might take you some time to work out of this. These plays, I'm telling you guys, like these will play out better more towards like the euphoric portion of the bull, right? The euphoric portion of the bull, these are where you'll catch some good plays. But like for now, I think your best RRs play your mids. I really think it is to play your mids. You're kind of mid liquidity. What is mid liquidity to me? Anywhere from 300K up to like 600, 700K, right? Anything below a mil lick, I think is a good mid. And if you're looking at those mids, you can compound those mids into these bigger plays later on once you get the money from that mid play, right? If you could flip 2K to 10K, 10K to 20K, then throw that in on a million liquidity play, then you run that up like a 3 to 5x, and then you got 100K, right? And then you got a good amount of liquidity to play with at that point. You just don't lose it. That's really kind of the best way to run those. Bubble. 3.5 mil. Oh, you can see I already started charting this. Got it right there. So good twop up. I like this. I like this structure. I like it when they start to move like that. Well, let's see what the RSI looks like. RSI is moving in favor of upside. I'd say, like, I'll keep it real with you. Okay. We'll just keep it real. You're likely gonna top out somewhere around here. You'll probably hit this high before you come back down. And then you'll break out somewhere later. That's what I think will bubble. I think you're gonna pop up like that, reject, come back down. Everybody's gonna think it's over because they're gonna see this big divot, and then it's gonna run from there. As long as you can hold trend, right? And that will also allow the RSI to cool too. Give you good space on the RSI. That's daily time frame though. Let's check the weekly real quick. Weekly, you got a lot of room. You got a lot of room on that weekly. If you can maintain this upper range above the 50, you're looking really good. You'd have a strong trend into the breakout. So this is real. It's not fake. What we got to see now is we got to see this thing really kind of, because when you look at this from this aspect, from the weekly, it really tells you like you have a lot of twop range above you, which means you can push price pretty high, right? You have a decent amount of expansion here on the weekly, which can give you a decent amount of move up here on the chart. But this will probably take some time. Likely the whole rest of the cycle is what it'll take. And if we run the fib, we run a 618 from where we are now. You're looking at like 700% minus compound. When I say minus compound, what I mean by that is like how much you've already been in this for, right? PAL, collat. You keep asking about collat. 1.5 mil. No problem. So you guys know what I like, man. I like these bottom dot charts, just ones that look like shit. But nice uptrend. Here's what I would tell you with this. This is a tough one. Yeah, this is really a tough one. Because I like vertical charts like this, and typically you want a big breakaway, but you already got a breakaway, right? You already got a breakaway. You pull down. You could definitely do this, right? Before you end up kind of getting that. So keep that in mind too. You could definitely come back down on this. Beyond Meat has been getting demoed. It has been getting obliterated. Like, I can't even see a reversal on that stock, man. And I've been watching it for some time. Because I was thinking, like, maybe they catch, like, some kind of trend or something like that. But, man, no. The market absolutely hates that stock company. I don't know why. BYND. Like, look at this. Where does this end? No problem. Man. And again, I think there's just this want of not having to buy fake meat, right? Whenever people hear fake meat or whenever they hear plant-based, 90% of people they just know. And I'm not saying it's bad because I've had plant-based meat. I don't think it tastes bad. But ultimately, a lot of people, they're very biased in that aspect. And so I just don't think there's a demand for this. I really don't. I think like if you're looking for something high protein, no meat, it's typically tofu. And so, if you're making tofu burgers, it makes sense, but I don't even know what this stuff is. Too many chemicals. Yeah, I could definitely see them using a lot of chemicals. I don't know for sure, but I don't think that they were just using plant-based. They did have a deal with Carl's Jr. for a while, and I think they maybe still have it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see this one turning around anytime soon. The stock is, pretty much cooked. The RSI has been cooked for some time. Isn't showing any indication of reversal at the moment. Still kind of in a downtrend, kind of down here. So yeah, that's a tough one. All right, but so I'm just gonna keep it real. All right. I don't know where 2,138 viewers are, but apparently that's how many I have. And while I would love to keep this running, and I appreciate all of you for showing up, I do need to cut it here because we're at like 2 hours. And I've tried to get through every chart I can. And I probably could have moved faster, and my apologies. And I tried not to, we'll say, like BS too much. I tried to stay straight to the point. So I hope that most people got what they were looking for. If you didn't, we'll try and do this again later on this week for you all. So as much as I hate to throw up that post again and deal with like a million freaking DMs and messages, I'll probably do it again later on this week, and we'll run it back. And we'll be running new charts, not charts that we ran today. So I hope you all appreciate it. Thank you all for showing up. And have an amazing evening. And I'll see you guys later on this week.